What I'd like to talk about today is a piece I made originally in 1981. It's called Hill Dance. I made a hill. I had a carpenter build a hill in my studio, Canal Street studio, in probably 1980 or 1979. And that was just made out of wood. But this hill dance was me trying to alter the effect of gravity on me and my dancing partner, Michael Schwartz. And these are the drawings. Some of the many drawings about this dance. And essentially we went up and down and up and down and up and down. And this first piece was 10 minutes long. And it was premiered, as I mentioned, at DTW in 1981. And I think it was the first time any choreographer had brought like I thought it was amazing, but brought this humongous hunk of equipment into the space, up the stairs. Everyone in the audience thought it was extremely steep and horrifying because the edges didn't have fences around them. But if you looked at it today, you'd go, so what? It doesn't look dangerous at all to me. But it was taken as dangerous. We went up and down, up and down, up and down. And after about a minute, you lose it. You lose it, your complete anaerobic aerobic capacity. But I made a grid. Every imaginable intersection which partitioned the hill and locations that I could create different vocabularies to either stay there and go through different positions or to go up and down on that grid and have Michael go the opposite way, or we intersected and had to jump over one another. After 10 minutes, we couldn't even stand up to bow. We were so fried. I realized that the stamina that I really understood working on this piece with Michael, and we got in terrible fights because it was just so uncomfortable. And it set the bar for what pushing your body means. And it set the bar for saying that when you get exhausted, the question looms, what can I still do on this thing and survive and not look like I'm failing? Because no one really comprehends visible failure. And even though people know running up and down a hill is not easy, they have no mercy for you if your skill isn't up to at least doing it well enough to get through it. And I think I didn't quite do it well enough to get through it. And so I would do things like rain. This says rain. I would do things like, side scudge. I would do things like duet dives or scallops, which would be called bevels. And we tried to be like fish in the ocean, but I also wanted to defy the annoyance of a pure horizontal floor that had no borders, like many dancers have to do on most stages, even black boxes, which DTW is. And I think that to put what's happening closer to the view, the capacity of seeing, the capacity to see what we are doing on a slant, I wanted to amend and fiddle with the angle of viewing, the frame of reference, what the body was able to employ physically, but also what the body spatially and visually was able to present to the audience. And the act of tipping my ground to that angle was also tantamount to me being able to show exactly everything we were doing on that surface and to line up with the grids I had made and the order of the events that happened. But I guess I love the hill dance because it was one of my very first ones that I thought, I can introduce danger and fear into the audience because they don't want to imagine themselves doing it, like that notion that you could somehow figure out how to present something physically in a situation that you can't manufacture flat on a regular theater, in a black box or even a proscenium, bigger theater like the Joyce. And I thought, that's the ticket to ride. That's my ticket to ride. And how do you do that ongoingly? Because it is very, very hard to do something with the human body in real time that surprises anybody. Even if the big surprise in the hill dance was just pure empathy for us. The equipment of Strip, all of the hardware, all of the different machines we've made are really instruments, to me, associated with like an expanse, an infinite amount of ideas that could be applied to them, not just one dance. Similar to orchestras who don't just make one concerto on their piano, et cetera, their flutes, their violins. They have like, just other ideas that get applied to those instruments, and I feel that way also. So we made this hill dance that I made in 2010 was for 5 people, and it was a bigger hill, and it was in a show called Forces, and they were all going up and down. It was only 2.5 minutes, and I kept telling them, how about 10 minutes? But then we did things such as Rain and Trio Scala and duet dives and 180, 180, 180, changing your facing as you're sliding down, diving from the upper stage left side of the hill to the bottom stage right side of the hill, and doing side runs on the way down, and spread outs with your legs, scissors on the way down, both on your side and on your back. So it was really all the different vocabulary, be in an X and twirl all the way down. Start with a sit, do a torso fuerte on your stomach, and then bring your legs around and run off. And we tried in so many ways. We do a curve, an arch, curve, an arch, do duets, arch, curve, arch on the way down. And we tried to expand, do rolls on the way down, which we never, Michael and I just felt that was too abusive on your elbows and your knees, so we never really did it. And there were just so many things, but I will say when we got to that dance and the 5 people that did it, it was grueling. And it was grueling, and I suffered through it with them, essentially. And it was hard for me to ask people to do